Okay, so we are back after that massive screw up at the start. Nice fraud. How's the stream looking?
Oh yeah, it's good. It's good.
All right, good.
Okay, AM cabbage,
Yeah, it's the same lineup.
big Omni
Same
night.
villain.
Earth Spirit.
Oh no, I didn't know the lineup before because I couldn't see the screen.
Oh, you couldn't. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Wind
basically,
Ranger at your
yeah,
service.
same lineup as earlier. So AM does have a massive advantage over Morphling. I think he's one of the hardest counters, if he gets his form. Um, but definitely Morphling is probably going to win this game. And Dawnbreaker is a much matchup for AM
yeah,
up top.
Dawnbreaker versus AM favors Dawnbreaker heavily in lane at least.
Yeah. So there's definitely like a point where Radiant has a chance, but like,
This
the
should be
later the game
interesting.
goes, and the fatter this AM
Yeah.
gets, things are gonna become problematic. Also, mid is kind of scary because they have a Wind Ranger versus Razor, and that's just never good for Razor. Even if like the problem with Razor is
No,
that
no,
even
never
if
good for no. I think it's matchup favors Razor because Wind Ranger does like physical damage because of focus fire, and like she's reduced focus fire, right? Like focus
yeah,
fire reduces her accuracy or damage, and I think
yeah,
like Razor, if he just uses like static link on her, Wind Ranger does nothing. It doesn't
that's
even tickle
that's
Razor.
true. But like the thing is, Wind Ranger has the perfect tool to disengage and break static link immediately. And also because a lot of her damage will come from javelin,
Battle will commence
static link
in
isn't even
30
that
seconds.
effective compared to other right clicking mids. Like sure,
I like what I
she'll care a bit more about it than Leshrac, right? But it's still not a great thing. So unless Wind Ranger gets all of her damage sucked, which I don't think is gonna happen. Okay, so Cabbage is copying my strategy, going for the sneak play. Little does he know Zai is waiting right on him. So good on her.
It begins.
No, but if he skills mana break, then he can easily man fight her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can easily
Yep.
modify. He was a bit late, I think. Like he could have.
No, I think that was okay. He didn't know where the enemy teams were. Like, if there was one more guy, he would probably have to scale Blink and then like get the fuck out. Okay. Oh, he doesn't have Blink. His level 1 was going to be so difficult.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, once the lane is in place, it's not that bad. But it depends when he gets his level 2. He will need his blink. So, Zai and Banana are trading at top. Down bottom. Meanwhile, Hip-Hop and Shizik are kind of just trading creeps. This is bad for Hip-Hop, by the way.
Yeah, this is
If
bad.
he doesn't turn the aggression up on Morphling at level 1, well, he's already level 2. This is really bad for Hip-Hop right now.
To be honest though, I think he will have a fine lane. Like, Clockwork does nothing to him. Salah needs to get up really close to do something to him.
Yeah,
Should be fine.
yeah. Shizik's gonna win this lane, I imagine. Quite hard, just given the
In
gear
fact,
that
he
he
has
has.
an A, right? He has an A support, so he can just use that Ice Vortex thing, and Morphling does do magical damage, like with waveform and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But yeah, and just generally, like, what the Slaughter gonna do if this Morphling?
Yeah.
Not a fluffy hat. Very odd item choice on Morphling. But yeah, like regardless, like once this guy has a Morbid Mask, Slaughter can't trade with him at all. He's gonna lose every single trade. And meanwhile, top Cabbage is suffering pretty hard, just like we predicted. Mid is about, well, Razor is winning, but I think that's mostly because Zoro DC'd and it took a while before it registered. Yeah. Overall, still looking quite good for Radiant. Like, let's see if they're able to um, take that early advantage and push.
I think top lane side, all the Omni Knight has to do is just keep AM healed. I think there's
Yeah,
nothing that he cannot pressure the Dawnbreaker.
absolutely.
Maybe trade with Earth Spirit a few times, but his primary job is to just keep AM topped up.
Yep.
There's
kind
nothing
of
else
play
you
it
can
like
do.
a warlock, right? You just sustain and sustain.
Yeah,
You have a salve, you have purification. Just keep
it's
AM
a nice build.
alive. Let him get his ring of health, which Cabbage has already
Much appreciated.
put in his quick buy. So that's good. Might as well. Banana is bullying this Zai. She's kind of stuck, just not doing it. No, both
Are
of
they
them
playing
are
on
kind
their
of
own?
Yeah.
getting zone.
Ooh.
Ooh, Bananas found the
Wave on. It is wave on. No wave on.
Okay.
Oh, that was finally the first good sign of aggression. But I'm not sure if it's enough, unfortunately. Okay, Omnionite salved his AM. So it's good for the AM. He still doesn't have his blink. Dawnbreaker is already level 2. Got it. It's big. Dawnbreaker is lower mana. So it's not as bad. The matchup isn't as bad because they nerfed Dawnbreaker's damage significantly, but it's still not AM favorite. If you burn her
It's
mana,
still
you
not
should
in
be okay.
favor, yeah.
You should be okay.
Basically, every time AM walks up to the creep wave, Dawnbreaker just should like use her Q on his face. Either commits blink or he gets stunned in the face.
And the Dawnbreaker has a sword. Oh, they're pulling. This is really nice.
Yeah, nice play.
But it looks like Cabbage recognizes the pull immediately, so he
No.
catches it. Nice. Real nice. Meanwhile, in mid lane, Wind Ranger still has one master. Wind Ranger has one last hit. So, yeah, Zoro, 2 last hits. Okay, so this is not
This matchup
the way I
was
expected it to. But, yeah, I think Wind Ranger is just missing last hits for no reason. Or maybe related to the DC.
yeah.
This is really bad. You're expecting Wind Ranger to win, and suddenly all 3 lanes are doing from meh to really bad. So then you'll be relying on your opponent to make mistakes more than make any good plays yourself.
Yeah.
Okay,
All 3
Cabbage
lanes are
sending
winning
his
right
carries
now
out.
already.
Just so you know, Cabbage, if you're running low regen, you can put your iron branches down and just get quick stun.
I think instead of sending the courier to the secret shop, what Cabbage could do is just push the lane forward to the tower and then go to the secret shop himself. I think that would really avoid
It's
them
a
down.
possibility, but I think both are fine.
Blood in the
Like, personally, I
water.
like doing this a lot. Okay, so Clockwork, I missed that. But yeah, either is fine. It's just you have to send the courier to the secret shop early, and he should be buying it
Yeah.
right after this. Oh yeah, he got it. So be careful about how you micro your courier. You kind of want to make it
Yeah.
go up and to the left like this. So let's just take a quick look at the last hits. Radiant is on top across the board. They don't except maybe for the
Yeah, they should focus the Dawnbreaker right now. They are mana.
Healing shock.
Nice. Cure. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Dawnbreaker has a salve. AM does not, and this is going to hurt him. Unfortunate.
Purification incoming. Maybe he can purify. You want me to purify? Yeah, I think that.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Kill them all.
That's impressive. Probably a miss micro on Morphin's part. Oh, DC. Okay, because I was gonna say like, barring like
Yeah.
some really bad misplay where you shift into Agi when you mean to shift into Strength, you really shouldn't be dying to Slard or Clockwork because they can't really catch you by surprise. What is nice about Clockwork is he is a natural vessel builder, so they have that going for them, and AM is a natural Scotty builder. Once he already has built-in mana break. So. Oh, and also, well, Wind Ranger is like, she's okay. It's not amazing. She needs a BKB and a Javelin to even remotely deal with this Morphling. But yeah, DCs are favoring Radiant, Dire a
Yep.
little bit. Oh well, Wind Ranger DC earlier. Okay. So Wind Ranger versus Razor. Basically, let's just talk about the mid lane a bit. Basically, what Razor wants to do is he wants to get his plasma field and basically either shove the lane so he
Yeah.
can jungle, or shove the lane so he can gank. What you don't want to do is let this Wind Ranger just farm till she gets her javelin and her 6, and then she just solo kills you once she stripped you down.
Oh yeah.
So you do have decent wave shove. The Wind Ranger has also decent wave shove, but like if your opponent doesn't know to do it, in this case they're not doing it, they're not counter shoving. Like you can really exploit that and just go jungle or gank. I would say this game, like you just jungle. Like Dawnbreaker, you're not really gonna kill this AM. Like yeah, you're not really gonna kill this AM. And Slardar, I mean it's possible, but I think for the most part, like he can just leave his teammates be for now and just focus on getting more farm for himself. And then later on, he can deal with Slardar and Omni Knight basically. If he gets enough movement speed though, like I've seen Razors hit max move speed, so you can actually keep up with the Wind Ranger to a degree. So it is
And
possible.
plasma field can just slow her down. Like what I would do is I would wait for Wind Ranger to use focus fire, and then I would static link, and when she uses Wind Run to get away, I would just use plasma field to slow her down a bit.
Just a bit dangerous. You have to be quite tanky to be able to do that. Otherwise, you might die to the focus fire regardless.
No, but you
Just
do
because of
make
the magic
on
procs.
you make SNY on Razor, right? Like
SNY.
I think that is what people do in
Yeah,
lower
that's
bracket.
true. SNY, Yules, both great items on him. Just makes you a speedy boy. Okay, Morphling is back. He's dead. I think Zai's dead too.
Yeah, guys, that.
Yeah, Zai's dead. There's a 550 move speed advantage.
No.
Oh,
Oh.
this range creep is so cool.
I think
Honestly, I wouldn't
we
have
can-
I would just let myself die here.
Must be getting
Oh.
It's perfectly fine. Because like
Yeah,
there's no
fine.
way to get XP. And sure Zai
Shut up,
gets
man.
the kill, but you know it's 144
Radiant's bottom
gold.
tower is
He
under
gets a
siege.
full he gets a TP which is 100 gold in itself and gets back with full HP full mana. And he'll be back to lane in like 7 seconds. So overall, like really good plays by the manager. Morphling is still on top of the last hit, so that's a bit worrying. It's kind of expected. Cabbage is going to, I think Cabbage is going to be just fine at this point. Like,
Yeah.
with the
Don't ever
auto-
let him
oh my god, I think
Oh, they're dead.
oh my gosh! I
Yeah,
don't know
she's dead.
if he meant to do that, but that was a pretty sick catch.
Don't request.
I don't think you need to kill him. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, like, she's gonna go home like this. Cabbage.
I'm wasting time.
Yeah, like, you're missing creeps here. This is definitely not worth it. Just let her go home. Either that or she salves up, has 0 mana, and now Cabbage is missing some creeps here. So what you could do is you could drag the creepers back here and then get farm.
Oh, don't request shouldn't really go in.
Wind Rangers and it's a clunky
Yeah. Yeah, better to just push.
I'm pretty sure
Dire's
Banana
middle tower is under siege.
they were down.
Yep.
Razor is not actually nuking the
Razor's-
wave, which you should be right now. If you're gonna nuke the wave as a Razor, you back up a little. Because the further the plasma field it hits the creeps, the more damage it deals.
Dire's middle tower is being attacked. Dire structures have been fortified.
Like Morphin's winning. I think it's mostly because Morphin's going for this Blades of Attack. If he just got Morbid Mask, it
Morbid
just
Mask, yeah. He should.
and not cared at all like what happens. But now he's kind of scared because he doesn't have anything. I think Fountain Blade is one of the worst items to get on Morphin, honestly, because it gives you 0
Yeah.
stats. 0 stats and like
Discharge.
rotation by banana.
I'll polish my armor in your
Very
blood.
aggressive rotation, so
Blessings.
Get
Yeah, this Falcon lane is really concerning. Could have been a very easy and easily one way. And suddenly you're struggling.
I don't think they can kill the
Pressure
Slardar
the
here.
Slardar. See, like he's just playing backwards, getting his own part, and just not crushing the Slardar when he absolutely should be able to. So this is like something where if you have a good matchup, or even you could say a counter pick, and he's not playing it in the fullest potential. Right? Picking a hero doesn't automatically make it good. It doesn't automatically mean you win the game.
Time.
Just because you technically have a counter pick.
Dyer's middle tower is
There has
under
to be like
attack.
that understanding.
It's probably
Why?
nothing to worry about.
Which is you can hit him, but you can't hit the Bananas
Denied.
is spotted after a black hole and Zai. I think at this point Zai should probably
Nice. Okay, that's all. That's all.
Invisibility.
Yeah, he's going to die.
Is Zora
Save.
gonna go for a fight?
No, he needs to. Oh,
Empty.
okay. Lane for a mid laner. They just got the XP, but they both didn't really lose gold in that.
Yeah, but Wind Ranger gets the XP from killing Razor.
Yeah.
And it's the Earth Spirit that gets the XP from killing Wind Ranger.
Yeah.
Cabbage is just shoving the lane now top. This is good. This is good. He has the awkward situation where he has so many iron branches, which is why when I start with this, I really like it if you can actually like use the branches to eat them or turn it into a wand. This game didn't need a wand, so probably just use them as standard.
No, he actually could have gone a one.
It's
The Dawnbreaker
It's
stun.
an amazing wand game because he is draining Dawnbreaker's mana quite a bit. If you fail to do that,
Oh, yeah,
then I
that's
think it's worth considering a wand. But like Dawnbreaker basically never casts spells in this game. Let's go look back a bit. Wind Ranger is recovering steadily. Let's check him out. Yeah, you know, like considering how bad the last disparity was earlier, like now it's relatively easy. At this point, I would favor Wind Ranger in this matchup. That was a good save.
Saved by Sana.
Really good. I don't think
No. Get back.
he might die for this, honestly.
Oh.
Morphing could just do this.
Okay.
Oh, but
Oh.
one more hit. But she's got the regen route now. Worked out quite well for her. I think she didn't get any points from the gap. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. I feel like Wind Ranger should have definitely died. Like either a spell by Razor, one auto attack, anything really.
Like I think the onus of carrying the tempo for this match for their team is on Razor, at least for Radiant. Because Razor is super strong. Like if he plays properly, he can really shut down Wind Ranger.
He needs to have a lot more for him than this though.
Itemization is good though.
Radiant's top tower is being attacked.
Cabbage and FFS are beating it down. Cabbage almost has his battle phase. He did this interesting thing with the content where like you skip your threads and you kind of just go for battle phase components. So that was 12 minutes in a lane where he wasn't expecting to win. And he's only 600 gold away from this battle phase.
Dyer's bottom tower is being
Another 1 or
attacked.
2 minutes. I mean, this
Dyer
is
has
so
fortified
structures.
Treehouse.
This is an amazing battlefield time. Again, banana makes a good rotation. To the mid lane. Morph lane is completely
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So,
Yeah.
So
this
that's
is
something
their
that's
one,
happened.
Radiant's
Dyer's bottom tower has fallen.
unfortunately, the Razor pick was
Actually,
really
what would have been better here, I guess, is for Morph, for everyone to just, for not everyone, but to keep the pressure at top
Radiant
side,
has
because this
fortified
tower, taking the tower
structures.
accomplishes nothing. And they would have like easily driven AM out of the game.
Yeah, I agree. You can consider like rotate Razor.
Jackpot.
Like sure you can't probably
Radiant's
can't
middle
kill
tower
him.
is being attacked.
This was a bit hasty, but yeah,
Yeah, but they can
Dyer's
definitely be
top
taking
tower
this
is
tower
under
right now.
attack.
I agree.
You're
Like,
allowed to
Morphin
start
should
trying
TP
now.
top.
I think after Morgan moved into the level of taking ancients, right?
Yeah, Morphin's absolutely capable. You have to be careful. Boss is hookshot, so it's not that bad. I would like Dawnbreaker to be able to join, so hopefully she's paying attention. Because if the fight starts here, Dawnbreaker absolutely should be here. Omni Knight is doing his own thing bottom, so they could potentially have 5 in the
What's the
game.
cooldown on level 4 wave 4?
11 seconds.
11 seconds. And what's the cooldown on Blink? Yeah.
Dire structures have been fortified.
I just realized Guardian Angel doesn't really do anything in this matchup.
Dyer's middle tower has
Guardian
fallen.
Angel is usually I felt like it's a very strong ultimate. In
Radiant's
certain
top
lineups,
tower is under attack.
it just doesn't do anything here.
Actually,
Not that he
it
used
depends,
it
because like, it looks like this morph is optimizing for right click.
physically.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Radiant's
wait,
bottom
no,
tower is
Manta
being
is
attacked.
going back to
yeah, E-Blade.
but that's kind of late. Like you really wanna commit to something.
Yeah.
Usually don't get a Falcon Blade, a Yasha, and then an Eagle Song. It's just like a straight shotgun build.
Don't you think-
Much tankier.
I think the Falcon Blade is somewhat justified here because what Falcon Blade tells me is that I want to fight early. And he did kind of fight early, like it wasn't like he was just straight up farming with the
Dyer's
Falcon
top
Blade, he
tower
was
is
taking
under
fights.
siege.
So I think it's kind of
But,
justified.
I think it's kind of the same because like it really doesn't do anything for more.
Dyer's top tower is being attacked.
I'm not sure if it works. Radiant's giving up another
Radiant's
tower.
middle tower is under attack. Dyer's top
Dyer's
tower has
giving
been
up another
destroyed.
tower. If Dyer has no TPs
Don't
in
reckon
any
TP.
of their cores. Radiant has no
Radiant's middle
TPs in any
tower
of their
has
cores.
fallen.
Oh shit.
They just give up the
Radiant's
towers.
bottom tower is
So
under
this
siege.
should never happen, right? Like
Yeah.
your cores should all have TPs and you can decide to defend them. Right? Like even this tower taking this much damage is already too much. But it's okay. Not the end of the world. But yeah, unfortunately like the mid tower does go down, so it's a trade when Dire is behind and you don't really want to trade either.
Eyes lie, but the spirit is true.
Bad.
This cabin's not Lotus, okay. Alright. Let's just check on the network. Morph is still going for his Manta. Like, I'm not really sure. Like, this Manta pickup makes no sense to me because there's nothing in their team that forces you to get a Manta. Right? Like, you just spell Slugger's ult, and that's it. And you're not even that concerned about that because you're just going into shotgun somebody. Preferably Wind Ranger.
Right.
Or maybe Clockwork, but probably Wind Ranger. So like the Manta is, it's like, it's just delaying your items. So like even though you should be far ahead of your
Dyer's
opponents,
bottom
you're
tower
not
is under
really.
attack.
And the thing is, AM will outfarm you. Give him a couple more minutes and he's gonna be the same net worth as his Morph. So they really need to be taking another fight because, yeah. If Dawnbreaker is probably get the players, get ready, and then the whole team should organize for another fight. Like the longer they delay this game, Banana's Fire goes in to save him, so save your hero.
With Hyper Radiant.
Rock it on.
So it's a disastrous fight by Dire. Yeah, it's finally like giving Radiant some signs of life. Because even though the game looks even right now, it really isn't.
No.
So, you know, them finally getting like that big win is
Tis
big
mine.
win for AM getting his stuff. AM is getting
A welcome boost.
Morphling is still getting his Manta. It's like net worth wise, it really doesn't feel that different between the two of them.
No, nothing.
Is my coffin.
That's the life of a plus 4.
That's the life of a pulse 4. It's bound to happen, just because he's been like playing really aggressively and scouting around for his team. So I can't even blame him too much for that, right? Like he's been making space and he's been making plays. So you know, 1 or 2 mistakes every so often isn't the end.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Hopefully
being
they'll
attacked.
learn from it and just
You're really losing
clear
Radiant
vision
structures
from it.
have been fortified. Well,
Radiant is
back to
trying
my
to
ad
roll.
libs. Radiant's bottom tower is under siege.
I feel like it's going to be
Candy.
Radiant's bottom
Black
tower
hole
is
gets
being
Maybe we
caught
don't
on
break
warding.
Take my advice.
I'm assuming, yeah, he has wards in carry.
Radiant's
So this is
bottom
the thing,
tower
right?
is
If
under
you're
Radiant's
support
bottom
and you're
tower
going
has
up like an
fallen.
enemy high ground, warding is not an excuse for you dying. You should wait for your team to come with you, to back you up, so that this doesn't happen. Yes, it's technically your job to ward, but you can't get it. You can't ward. You just have to
Oh, nice. No, okay, people are coming. People don't around.
Oh my gosh, Vanguard.
I think,
FFS
yeah.
wasn't even like popular.
I'm amazed for it.
Radiant's
Which
bottom
makes me
tower is
appreciate
being
it all
attacked.
the more.
Good
If
performance.
that's something you cared about.
Wind Ranger can get a Blink Dagger fine, but she definitely needs a BKB immediately after. Otherwise, this Morphling will have the shotgun and will be able to blow her up from full to 0. Clockwork DC.
As a Morphling, yeah, his only priority right now should be get that E-Blade as soon as possible.
Yeah. And
Because
now he's
that
going
opens
for a
the whole
BKB.
game
Okay,
board.
so this is really not good for
No,
like,
this is not.
like his farm is there, but like, look at this. AM's already caught up. So
Yep.
this is like AM is a much faster farmer than Morphling, and in this matchup, if AM has equal farm to Morphling, I would say Morphling loses. Just because like you could just get on top of Morph, burn all of his mana in like 2 seconds, and then Morphling becomes completely useless. And now it's even worse because he can't even shift. It costs mana now if I'm not mistaken. Unless they change that again. Okay.
Why is he going for the BKB though? What magical damage? What magic damage is there? What disables are?
There's nothing
understand.
really. Like it's Slardar Stun, Wind Ranger Shackle, and I guess the it's not that amazing. I really think shotgun Morphling.
No, but if you want a mana buff, you just cast the weird on yourself, right?
Radiant's bottom tower is being attacked.
If you really want to escape
Wait,
AM,
maybe they're
you
not
just
actually
use weird on yourself.
Hell,
You could
they
enter
are.
Imperial.
Radiant's bottom tower is under siege.
Yeah, there's definitely solutions. Definitely feel it's we'll see. Right now, let's see. Directly nothing going on, so I think it's fine. Clockwork should definitely
Roshan has been killed by the Radiant.
rocket for you know, it's hard. Like you get better at detecting these things. Oh, I like this smoke by Radiant. It was a bit uncoordinated, so they don't end up catching anybody. At least they shouldn't. Zoro, please back up, man. Okay. They shouldn't be able to catch anyone. But like the idea behind it, where they kill Roche and immediately smoke out. Up. That's it. This is kind of stuff you watch in Pro Bowl.
Dyer's top
It
tower
makes
is
me
being
so happy
attacked.
to watch. Yeah.
Radiant's bottom tower is being attacked.
Lips committed.
Radiance has fortified structures. Dyer's
So long
top
as
tower
Dyer
is
doesn't
under
take this fight, they
attack.
should be fine. They should be waiting up the high ground, letting AM do his thing. pushing away.
Dire's top
What
tower.
they really don't want to do now is take a fight.
Dire's
and then,
top tower has
especially,
fallen.
okay, they gave up their tower. Now you definitely don't want to do that. Left for you to defend.
Radiant's
Like,
bottom
Radiant,
tower
power
is
shot
under
to
siege.
While AM trades towers.
Shouldn't they just TP straight up TP bot while the top is still alive and try to catch the game? Is that something they can do?
If they do that,
Okay,
then
no,
AM
this is better. This is
AM
better.
has to
They
force
forced
the
him
tower
back.
Thy soul
This is what I
is
mean
in
though.
deficit.
Oh no, he should get back. He should get back.
AM can kill this tower.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Actually, Morphling should just hit the tower. Yeah.
Morphling has no mana. Like, he can take his Aegis off of
He has
us.
Aegis though. I don't think.
Dire's top barracks has been destroyed.
Like, he's going to
Okay.
yeah. Clockwork. I like
Okay,
the Clockwork.
okay.
Like, he's just waiting for Morphling to waveform out. Oh, waveform some.
Player.
Nice attack. There was a nice attack, but that was a really good adjustment by Shizek. Like, good plays all around, right? Like, that's exactly what I'd like to see. Perhaps I feel like Wind Ranger could have delayed the push a bit more, just to the power shot, and then gotten AM like enough time to actually take this tower, and then maybe even force somebody to TP back. It still looked good for them because they were fighting high ground, but they did lose a range tracks. And you know, it was still a good fight. So like, it's you know, Dire will walk away quite happy.
No, it was definitely a good fight. They forced the AM to TP from bot. Like the tower was almost there, tier 2 was almost dead, and then AM had to like
I know,
come
it
home,
was a
come
good
back
fight for
home.
Dire. It was a good fight for Dire.
Radiant's
No, it was a
top
good fight for
tower is
Radiant.
under siege.
They lost 3 heroes under Aegis.
They took 2 towers and a Scepter
Radiant's top
Axe.
tower has been destroyed.
Leave that behind.
I mean, it's still right, they still took towers.
Still, I'm not really that convinced, but I think it's semi. They made the But yeah, it's the range. All it really does is it pushes the wave slightly, which is nice, but it isn't the same as taking a full wave. If they had taken a full wave of barracks, I would completely agree with you. But since they only got the range, it's not actually that interesting. Non-breaker going in for a full physical build. I think that's appropriate. Most of I like that Vanguard pickup actually. It's a strong item. Let's use more physical damage.
A Blade Mail, and I don't miss the hard day, but Blade Mail here would be so good against Wind Ranger.
She can cancel her auto attacks.
No, but still, she is, once she commits, she either doesn't use a focus fire on you, or when she commits focus fire on you, she has to wait for like 5 seconds to see something in the damage.
Like she's probably more inclined to over Dawnbreaker. Okay, head pop. I didn't get
Hey, alright?
Yeah, we walked through the Dawnbreaker and then got killed by the so this is like everything just went
Dire's
to
top
shit.
barracks has been destroyed.
Dire right now. The only silver lining is that they do not
Dire's
take
top
lose off,
barracks
so
has
it's not
fallen.
like
So they want to end.
are they going to add?
There's, no, they can't. There's no way they can end. Like,
Has fallen.
he doesn't have buyback, right? He just comes with buyback. Razor is just in a bad position. Razor is just in a bad position.
Fighting together.
Nice. No, that was okay. He backed off. He was ice up. Okay, nice. This is nice.
Yeah, you take the tier 4, but you've got all your momentum stopped again. AM will have his Scotty by the next fight. Absolutely. Eating this Morphling for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And now Morphling is also behind in farm, and in this this matchup, it's really not great for TS.
Does he have his E-Blade right now, Morphling? The Morphling? I think he switched to Skadi as
He
well.
went for BKB.
Oh,
Yeah, you're not gonna man fight him. Like, you're not gonna man fight him unless you like chain stun him
Radiant's
down.
middle
Which
tower
they don't
is
even
under
have
siege.
really. A bit of a major mistake by Zoro earlier, walking into that Dawnbreaker.
Radiant's middle tower is being attacked.
yeah.
Ice Blast, but you know, it's still decent for Dire. In fact, I would say I would favor Dire right now because the next fight is going to be
Dire's
significantly
barrier
harder
has been
or
callously
Radiant.
murdered.
So unless Dire is one big important fight. AM has a Skadi. He's trying to kill
Okay.
more things.
This-
No, AM,
Every
it's not
coin
worth it.
helps.
He's teasing you. I love it. Like they're just.
They know where the aim is, right? Like they can, if they want, they could even get. No, you guys play. You guys play. No.
Oh no!
An Orchid here would be so nice.
Oh, what? That was a mantle.
Ain't enough.
I think Omni can sacrifice his combination.
Yeah.
No, they're going in. AM is not joining his team.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's like a lack of
He's
coordination.
He's pushing. He's trying. He's
Yeah,
trying.
He's just trying to force it. Like, if that were the case, then the Slardar definitely should. But that gets to it. Good play by him. Just breaking up the fight, reminding them all who's boss. Yeah. That's it. Oh, he's cutting the midway. This is perfect. This is perfect. This is what they want
Dire's
to see.
bottom
This is what
tower
they
is
want
under
to see.
siege.
Perfect. He's cutting the midway.
Dire
response
has
to Radiant,
fortified
though.
its
They're going
structures.
They already. This is problem. Like they're committing so hard to defend the creative, which honestly doesn't matter. It's just there to slow down
Dire's
the
bottom
opponent. So
tower
let it
is
slow
under
them down.
siege.
And then take the fight where, you know, you really can't give
Dire's
up.
bottom
See,
tower
AM's
has been
sleeping back right
destroyed.
now. Definitely the fight they want to be taking. Probably not right now without all of it. So, really some definitely. I feel like they have
What does the ad shot do? Blink him
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Okay, so they need to let their get them
Dire's
out. They
bottom
did
tower
get 2
has
heroes.
fallen.
So if they play this guy, they can definitely still hold up. They also get one people. Without actually hitting the hero.
Dire's bottom barracks is being attacked.
Clockwork PC'd again. This is unfortunate. But shouldn't change the outcome of this fight. Like at most, Morphling will get this range tracks. And he might even die for it, so I'm not sure. He doesn't have mana, that's the thing. He doesn't have any mana, and so I would actually just
Wave
back
form
up
or
for
not?
on
He
this
doesn't have
Morphling.
wave form.
Because the moment this Dawnbreaker goes down, this Earth Spirit will already be dead. And they will just go on this guy with 0 mana and 350 move speed. Like, what is he gonna do? AM going Basher, definitely agree. Like, you're not gonna get the benefits of a heart this game because of the AA. And the Basher just lets you pick people off. He should be focusing all of his effort on Razor or Morphling every single fight. And he should wait a little more patient.
I don't think fighting a Razor, like man fighting a Razor one-on-one is like.
But then Abyssal
urgent.
Blade, it's doable. With a Basher, Abyssal Blade, it's doable. So let's see if they go for it. They definitely can. If you don't know, let's see if he gets caught. They see him. They see him.
Nice.
Nice waveform. Oh, but they got it.
Oh, he's dead. He's dead. Yeah, he's dead. Okay, he wanted to kill him.
Dire's bottom
Fuck,
barracks
guys.
is being attacked.
But that's a sacrifice his team is more than happy to make. Hickok's fine. It's not gonna die here.
Dire's
no,
middle
wait.
tower is under attack.
Yeah. That's what I meant though. Like, he could have taken the range crack, but definitely there was a risk of him getting caught out in that. Okay, so I just want to point out that because this Morphling, like this Wind Ranger is not the BKB, and that's mostly because Morphling has not gotten anything to threaten the Wind Ranger. She's more than happy to get this Axe for herself, which is like the ideal Wind Ranger item, I feel. Just lets you zoom around even more. And yeah, since she's not getting threatened by magical damage whatsoever, they can just get away with this greedy, a relatively greedy item. Please equip the
Radiant's
Axe.
middle tower is being attacked.
So something that Dire is probably going to do is consider like taking Roshan. Like they
Yeah.
have a good lineup for it. Just because
I think they're considering it.
Slaughter
going
makes
for it.
any lineup a Roshan. Oh, they caught kinda out on it.
Yeah. Yeah, no aim.
Dire's middle tower
One
is being
buyback,
attacked.
and they lose clockwork for it. I mean, at the end of the day, he did his job.
I think they said a lot of damage from the
in
Inhouse.
her eye and tell them, Mama, I did it. And then he's gonna be fine, you know?
I think in the last fight, Razor took a shit ton of damage from just the Ancients. I don't know if that. The Ancients were consistently hitting because of the Eye of the Storm.
Yeah. Okay, this is a good scan out the Dire, so they should know and they should definitely be re-engaged. AM is very strong right now, but I would prefer if Slaughter goes in.
They don't have clockwork. They can't coordinate this.
Oh,
Yeah, field for Diana.
Oh, this is a wild game. Hickok got killed by Roche.
Immortality!
There are two items, three there. Okay. Zai
This just
Solo
turned the game.
smokes.
This just turned the game for Diana.
Yeah, absolutely. And Zai Solo smokes in desperate attempt to stay alive. We all die. Go. Okay, so definitely now Radiant
Tier
has
2 tower, I wouldn't
is
defend
under
it.
attack.
Yeah, that is
Radiant structures have been fortified.
sure committing a glyph for it. But
Radiant's middle tower.
I mean, committing a glyph for the tier 2, it was okay.
yeah, it's okay. Definitely you want it on the tier 3 at this point.
Dire's middle
Just so
tower
that
is
there's a
under
higher
attack.
staying in a more dangerous area for them. And potentially that means you get a better damage.
Dire's bottom barracks.
Oh, what a good
Nice.
problem is most of his team, half of his team already gone. AM should be fine, but they did kind of just waste that dangerous. At this point, AM should definitely be saving his buyback because he's far from invincible, and if he goes down without buyback, the team will be struggling to actually just more. Okay, Hickok's TPing in. He should be able to win this engagement if it's just the 2-on-2, but Hickok thinks better of it. It's out. In the meantime, Razor, SNY Yules, I will say his farm has like dropped off the face.
Is all good and I think you reduce the burn?
But they they have no idea where he went. Just a little tip. Oh, he misses the Razor. This is one lucky AM, I swear. And you are so greedy. He is so greedy. He's still doing this in the face.
Yeah.
Anyway, just a tip, like if you watch where AM's facing, like you know where he's gonna be blinking, because he has to turn to the target. It's not like he was facing left and then suddenly he shows up here, right? If he's facing left, he'll be going left. But maybe they didn't notice him because of all the chaos. And so I suppose it's okay, I like this lumber. Like he's just going in.
Earlier in the match, I said that Guardian Angel doesn't really do anything for their lineup, and now because the way they don't have itemized, Guardian Angel seems like a good skill. Because they're all going for physical damage.
Clock is going to suicide. Now he is cursing at his past self for doing this to him. So let's see what happens. Don't worry, Cabbage, we all have regrets. Oh, he cuts the wave! A brilliant
He's cutting the wave.
A brilliant move. I raised that boy. Anyway.
Dire's middle tower is under
You're
siege.
taking the mid tier 3 fire. Windranger, you are way out of
Dire's
position.
middle tower
You
has
have no
been
BKB.
He's-
It's not even that amazing, but Cabbage is cutting away, but it's not gonna do anything. We're gonna have to take this. Luckily for them, it's not
okay. Questionable stun.
I'll next buy back to the right now.
Yeah. He's a die.
Profit is fine.
Coming in.
That's what I mean. You cannot man fight AM. And you can't really escape it. So he has way higher mobility. AM was about to hit him, AM! Hit him! No! Why didn't you hit him?
RNG. Saved by RNG.
I know I said that I raised Cabbage, but I'd like to point out that he's a doctor. I know it's going to shock you, but I don't think Cabbage is actually just so you know. I did raise him, but you know, he's still got some not Filipino blood, and maybe that's why.
Why does he have that farming mask at like 38 minutes?
Well, I would take the illusionist gift at this point.
Yeah, of
No,
course.
this dire. This Radiant, sorry.
They all have like their neutral item, they need to swap them out.
Yeah, I can't see what their neutral item is.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
This point disengage. Force the morph buyback. Further dying is a
Every time the Morphling goes in with that BKB, like, okay, I have BKB, I can mine okay, this doesn't work. Yeah. The anti-mage will, just blink up.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can never force AM to fight. So unless he chooses by himself to fight in a bad position where he's gonna get ulted, stunned by Dawnbreaker, like, he should be able to dictate like everything about this game. I think the BKB is okay. Honestly, like there is a significant amount of magic damage and control that he probably doesn't want to deal with. Definitely want this illusionist. Just like Penta-Edge Sword could be good in Dawnbreaker if you, or Razor. Either one.
Dawnbreaker is out of position.
Let's see if AM will actually use this items. Windranger, she's on her way to
Hex. Yeah, Hex is good.
I really want them to save for buyback. Like, let's just check who has buyback right now. Okay. So Radiant has buyback, and the only one dire who doesn't have buyback is Huha has buyback is clockwork, so... Oh, cabbage too. Okay, good, he's saving for it.
Cabbage and buyback.
You cannot be playing here. What I think she just got better. So it's important that they have this. Also important to note is Morphling, like the scariest and hardest hitting hero in their team does not have buyback. So if you see this, like when the carry or the mid, it really depends which one is the bigger pain in the butt to deal with. But when one of them dies and then buys back, like the next fight, they should absolutely be your priority. If you kill them, you know that they will stay there. And you know, the moment they die, there's a very good chance the game is just over. Because their team can no longer defend for their base for 2 minutes. The value is not necessary.
On Morphling, when you go Uber,
Not a good item on Morphling, just because it doesn't give you stats. This is 40%, 40 accuracy, 28, 20.
Yeah.
Basically what happened is he's just building Morph that has really like not really respecting the fact that Morph has a lot of stat shifting and min-maxing available to him and only him. Like none of his items act like this Falcon Blade doesn't really apply. He's getting Satanic, so that's something, right? And definitely now buy that Satanic because like what other choice we have? They smoked up and they don't have Resurgence, who they definitely would have wanted for this fight. They might catch Black Hole here. Oh! That was good Restarter. I don't know how sensible that was. So Expert's dead without buyback, but it is available, so I don't... If Dire is keeping it back the buybacks, they might not know that. But I think they're gonna, you know, knowing them, they're probably gonna go in anyway. Wind Ranger, where are you? Okay. He should definitely not be the first one because he's waiting for Morphling to show himself.
Yeah.
The moment Morphling does, that's when AM comes in. Okay, send the illusion in first. That's fine.
Dire's middle tower is being attacked.
I want a Dawnbreaker to win.
Dire's
I think Dawnbreaker
structures
gonna
have
get
been
picked out
fortified.
by the end.
I don't know if game's even considering that. If I'm being honest. They're getting Mindbreakers 43. Guess they just haven't picked up that many neutrals. Oh, AM should be able to. They should definitely be able to kill her. And Thunderbreaker sees. Oh no.
Roche is up, right? Roche is up.
Yeah. That would be the next objective. So AM should still be getting the Aegis. I feel
Yeah.
he's the one who's gonna have to get down and dirty to get this morph, to kill this morph. And yeah, Aegis means he's gonna trade his life away for morphs.
Is it a good TKB game for ages or AM?
It's
Like
an
all the
okay
stuns.
BKB game. Like I mean, like I'm very greedy as when I play AM, so I probably wouldn't get the BKB, but I think it's perfectly acceptable. And it's acceptable why he's using it. It gives just a lot of magic damage and like annoying stuff.
But that
Like
Pierce is telling me.
silence and stun by Earth Spirit. Stuff, stun by Thunder. It might make a difference. Because Cabbage has been clipped by a bunch of Thunder.
Haste.
And with a BKB that's just not good. Radiant is first friend.
Radiant, no.
both
Okay, no, they both know Roche is up.
Nice. Good scout by Clockwork. So yeah, if you're a Clockwork and the game goes this late, you definitely want to make it your job constantly the scout moves. Right? Like every 15 seconds or so, just shoot another rocket.
Do it with flair.
Okay, it's fine. And then the next one should be back in the pit. Just to make sure that you're absolutely not doing anything sleepy. So it looks like Radiant's gonna casually walk towards Rose pit.
Why does I have the illusionist game?
Because nobody else. She's baking on Clock.
No,
they
this
should be
we can't.
sniping this.
We can't take Roche. We can take
They
Roche.
should know. They're planting words in your face, guys. Come on.
Yep, they don't know. They know.
Savage knows,
Anyway.
but now Radiant knows that they might be too late already. Fuck, you need to go in there. Oh, that was a 60 on my clock! Oh, dear! dead without buyback. Oh, I think oh god, 3
Yeah,
kills
that's a
dead
GG.
without buyback.
That's a GG.
AM got the X and the cheese. Okay. Clockwork has the Aegis and he's still looking at the guy. All they have left to defend is an Earth Spirit and a Razor.
No, they're moving left.
That's
Listen.
the end of so long as Dire recognize this and just go for it. Even if they don't, they can take this tower and then they can go here.
Radiant's middle
The only
barracks
time
is
they
under
wouldn't
attack.
right off of this
Ah,
if
these
they decide to go for
familiar
bottom and then go for
killers.
top. They hold for safety. If they recognize it, then there's no buyback.
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
There's nothing
Radiant's
to do.
middle barracks has been destroyed.
Earth Spirit can do. Short of having the entire enemy guys.
Radiant's middle tower is Dire's bottom barracks is being attacked.
I'm sleeping. Oh. Only night sleeping. They recognize. They sent too
So-
many heroes back. Dire bought. Oh,
Oh yeah, no, that's it.
Radiant's ancient is being attacked.
Okay, one last bit.
look out! He got me.
Dire's ancient is being attacked.
Yep. Okay.
Yes, well played. This is a close game. Like the other tower is in the other corner. I will take that. Okay. Wow, what the game that was. Definitely fun. I would say, yeah, exciting all around, and both teams played well. There were definitely moments where either team could have taken it, so I would consider this like a pretty successful lobby overall. Yeah, I'm just gonna move everyone back to main lobby.
Oh, shit.
Hey guys, how was the game? How did that
Oh,
feel?
intense. Yeah,
Definitely
intense game.
Cabbage
Uh,
carry, guys.
Cabbage carry.
On 200 ping.
Okay, so guys, I will say that was a very very close lobby, one of the closest I've watched in a while. Both teams had their moments, and both teams had a very good chance of winning this game. Like one or two different plays, slightly different calls. Like 1 second later on the clockwork, hook shot into the pit. Like things would have turned out pretty
Yeah.
differently, I feel. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over the lobby real quick. The lineups. Okay, neither team really had a cohesive strategy, which is fine. It's all pick, right? Like you guys, just pick heroes you're comfortable with. Maybe counter pick one or two of the opponent heroes. Okay. So some general things about the draft. I think definitely because of the AM versus Morph matchup, AM is favored late because like AM will just blink on Morph, and Morph just has to sit there and take it. He has one waveform, and then AM will blink on him again, and then Morphling dies, basically. So unless Morphling is significantly ahead of the AM, like I don't think it's a good matchup for him. So there was because of the way that you guys drafted, because heroes had like there was a clock on Radiant to like push and push effectively, stop this AM from getting farmed, and then eventually take high ground, right? And they actually partially succeeded at that. Other things, I would not like. I don't remember. Was Razor picked after Wind Ranger?
No, we last picked both of them.
Okay, so yeah, it's an unfortunate matchup, but Razor definitely
That's
is
fine.
at a disadvantage here. I will
This-
say though,
okay.
I think maybe Zoro had some lag issues or what, because
Yeah, I always play on 120, 130 ping.
yeah, because like
That's fine.
your last hits are like 3 last hits at
Yeah.
like 3 minutes or something, and I was a bit surprised. But still, the
Yeah.
matchup was favorable to you. Uh, I was surprised you didn't get the BKB this game. Found it a bit greedy, but you
Yeah.
made it work, so that's fine. Uh, okay. Generally, I think both teams like their itemization made sense. Uh, Earth Spirit got well. I'm not sure about the vessel. Like I guess it's just an extra damage item for you, but like there's no real hero that Earth Spirit can like vessel this game. I like the
Omni?
adjustment of I mean, yeah, to a degree, but it's not like an amazing vessel game or anything. It's not like you're against a Morphling or Timber or Bristle. But it's okay. Like, I think generally there aren't that many items that Earth Spirit needs. So Vessel is a fine item to pick up. Then I see you're going for Greaves, which I think is good. Like, they have a lot of physical damage. You want to heal them through that. Yeah, Razor's part, I will say, your farm just fell off completely after you got your Yults. Like I checked at like 35 minutes, you had SNY, and then at 47 minutes, all you had is a plate mail. So you just have to be a bit more conscious of that. Like, yes, you're a Razor, so you're not exactly the most farm heavy hero in the game, but still, it's important that a mid progresses with their items at a somewhat reasonable pace because eventually by the end you didn't I'm sure you felt it, but you didn't feel all that tanky and you didn't feel like you hit all that hard, right?
That was
So
really bad.
uh just small efficiency things like farming in between camps. And like I think in mid, when you won the specifically in mid, when you won against Wind Ranger, you could have just started nuking the wave out and then jungling. Or possibly nuking the wave out and then going to the top lane. Technically Wind Ranger can nuke the wave back, but if let's say your opponent isn't good enough to recognize that or doesn't do it for whatever reason, it will free you up to go jungle and extend your farm lead more, which will, eventually help you farm even more as you win more fights. Or you could have taken that opportunity to gank. Like the thing is, you guys were winning all of your lanes, so I would have figured like one of you should have rotated to the other lane, probably taken the top tower a little earlier. It did take a while, and then so that was one thing. Like you guys had the initiative, you guys were stronger early on, especially the Morphling. He had an amazing lane. Uh, but yeah, that's one thing. FFS, I like your itemization on Dawnbreaker. You were definitely a beefy boy. For the most part, your initiations were good. Yeah, you kind of just stood in front and like I noticed it in fights. Like you bought time for your team, and that's a big part of it. Something to consider would have probably been a halberd this game, just to deal with the wind range, especially considering she has no BKB, so you can get it off on her every time, and it also just makes you really tanky also. Um, BKB is nice, but honestly, like their lineup, it doesn't have a lot to BKB
No,
from.
I don't BKB because I noticed like 3 or 4 straight times I got Slada stunned in the middle of my queue, so I couldn't get my queue stun off.
Yeah.
And the second thing about Halberd was like 2 seconds into the fight, I didn't have any mana, so I doubt Halberd would have helped me.
Well, the halberd does help you not lose your mana because AM will be missing a lot of his attacks. Uh, Another thing is you did have a soul ring, so that could help. But okay, let's say you're getting burnt, your mana burnt every time. I guess it's okay, reasonable, to make a BKB adjustment. I just feel like you might not have needed to. With the soul ring, with your itemization, like I think you could give it a try. At the very least, I say you give it a try. Morphling, I was a bit confused by the build, if I'm being honest. Like, uh, definitely think shotgun Morphling was the way to go. Like, get your Yasha maybe, and then go straight for an E-Blade, or go straight E-Blade after Treads and Morbid Mask. Just because like you want to force this Wind Ranger to buy a BKB, you want to force this Clockwork to get a Blade Mail, but like they were both free to build whatever they wanted to counter the Morphling. And also like it's useful against AM, it's useful against Lardar. Just prevents Morphling from getting hit. Uh, Definitely like if you're just able to burst somebody down as a Morphling, and you're not gonna die for it, I think that's when Shotgun shines. And if you don't think you can get away with that, or you don't think there's anyone worth you can actually burst with Shotgun, then that's when you go for this right click build. Um, Yeah, MKB, like, this had to be bought because there was no shotgun. Like, typically you want to get stats on Morphling, and because he went the right click build, and the Wind Ranger had Wind Run and didn't need to buy like a BKB or whatever. Like, the only way he could deal with her was right clicking, and that's why he felt the need to go Monkey King Bar, which on Morphling is not good because it just doesn't work with what he wants is like building up lots of stats, and Monkey King Bar gives you literally zero stats. But anyway, yeah. As for Zai, I think overall, like your ice blasts were on point, which is the biggest part of playing A. In the lane, I saw you duking it out with Banana, and generally, I think you held your own. So, congratulations to you there. It's definitely not easy to trade with Banana's clockwork, but yeah, you held your ground there. Uh, some things I would mention for you is like you got caught out a lot. Like there's some times where you're just on your own, and I have no idea why. Like as an AA, you always want to be behind your team because like what are you gonna do on your own really? Like you don't really farm creep waves. You can't really do the jungle, right? Like the only reason I can think of that you'd ever really want to be alone is if you're stacking camps. That's like literally it. Like every other time you should be behind your team. Let them create a shield. Let them break the opponents upon with their bodies. Force them to clump up. Give you a good ult. Because when you die, it's like a big deal because there were so many times that your opponents their dire team just died because of the really good ice blasts. So yeah, but I think your itemization this game very reasonable.
I
Overall.
couldn't get the Yules out. I didn't see the force stuff coming. That was so good. That was so good.
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was like that 1 second where you can force stuff yourself out of that Yules into a stun. That was so good. I just want to say. Yeah.
Alright. So yeah, well played on everybody's part on Radiant. Again, I think the reason like what happened in the end was basically that decision to go force that top engagement when you guys weren't ready.
Yeah, Roshan.
Um the
Yeah.
Roshan was a part of it, but like the problem was you guys took like 3 fights forcing high ground and then you died for it. Yes, you took like the range racks. Yes, you eventually took the melee racks, but every time you gave up so much of your strength that was the last objective you guys were able to take. Like you took 2 racks and then that was it because by then you gave up your lead entirely and then the other team started catching up. But by the second fight, AM already had his Scotty and he could just pick Morphling apart. So there has to be a bit more patience with the engagements, right? If you're more patient than the opponent, I don't mean like just be passive, right? You can be patient outside their base, waiting for them, daring them to come farm. If your opponents aren't very good, they will eventually leave, trying to get a creep wave. You get a pick off, then you go high ground. If not, you farm, you farm, you farm. Let the first Aegis expire, take all their outer towers, and then you farm, you farm, you farm, until you get the second Aegis. And then by then, their team will be so starved for money because they have 3 creep waves while your team gets to farm their entire jungle plus all 3 waves. So you guys will have like a 5-10,000 net worth advantage, and that's when you guys can go high ground. The biggest mistake in low rank Dota is like everybody thinks they have Aegis, they have to go high ground immediately. Like oftentimes, if you're unsure, it's better to be play it safe, get more farm, and then go high ground if you can convince your team of that. If your team insists, then I suppose you don't really have a choice. Sometimes it's gonna work out in your favor, but a lot of the time it's not. And the point is like you guys still lack, like even I like sometimes lack like the skills necessary to like figure out exactly when it is like a good fight and when it's not. Right? Even pros will make that miscalculation all the time. That's why they lose on high ground. So it's better that you come from it from a place of caution, where you outfarm the opponent, even if they win late game. If they don't ever get the farm they need, they're never actually at late game. So something to
But
consider
but
is
how do you end up outfarming an AM? Like he's gonna get farmed no matter what, right?
basically you don't outfarm the AM. You outfarm AM's team. right? If you keep them in the base, like if they go outside, you kill them, and if they stay inside the base, they're only gonna get 3 creep waves while you get 3 creep waves and the entire you get the entire jungle. Basically, if AM is able to get farm, that means nobody else on his team is. So even if Morphling technically isn't out farming AM, because he's the only one getting farm, it's Morphling and his entire team who are all super farmed, all super high level, um, ganging up on this AM. And the moment AM dies, his entire team crumbles because none of them were able to farm for the past 10 minutes. Like, that's the idea behind it. Like, somebody is gonna get farm, and there's not much you can do about that. Like, you don't need to chase him around the map. You just have to keep his team cooped up in their base. Eventually, if they leave, you kill them. If they don't leave, you choke them out slowly until they have no more money left to fight you with. And your team will have all the items and they won't. That's basically the idea behind it. I can probably coach that into you guys in some other unranked. So Clockwork, generally I liked your playstyle. You were very aggressive throughout. You got caught out a couple times, but I think that's par for the course. I will say, like, when you knew that Roche was up, I feel like you could have more consistently rocket flared the Roche pet. Like, that final fight was so close was because the reason that final fight was so close was because like it took you way too long to send the next rocket flare there, and their enemy team was able to just walk in. They didn't even smoke in, dude. Like, they just walked into the pit and then they started hitting Roshan. Right? So like, if next time the timing doesn't work out, your team loses that fight, like that's just because you didn't know that the Roche was happening and being fast enough. I saw Dire was scrambling to get there in time, right? And you barely made it. Like, literal split second. A split second later, Morph would have had the Aegis. And it might have looked like a very different fight. Right? So, just remember that as a Clockwork, if there's an Aegis and your team is fighting for Aegis, the enemy team is fighting for Aegis, there's nothing more important for you to be doing than rocket flaring Roche. Like, at most, I would say you rocket flare Roche pit, and then you can rocket flare outside to scout, then rocket flare Roche pit, then rocket flare outside. But like, if you delay or you don't use it off cooldown, you should be rocket flaring in the pit like all the time, just to make sure they're not going for it. For Wind Ranger, yeah, I mean, if you were dying to magic damage, I think it would have been fine to get a PKB, but you didn't, so you're allowed to get away with this much greed. Item build made sense overall. Yeah, I can't really complain. Like, you played a solid Wind Ranger game. You missed a couple of power shots, and again, I think the biggest weakness was your laning stage, because that lane should have definitely been favoring you. But
Yeah, I've only had like 1 or 2 games on Wind Ranger, so I'm not used to last hitting on her.
Yeah, but she does have a good last hitting animation. So, if you want to practice it, it's definitely very
Yeah, I'll practice it.
Okay. Hickhawk on Slardar versus Morphling. Something you would be you would lose this matchup like 100%. I think later on you kind of felt it, but like against better opponents they punish you more because all Morph has to do is right click you once he's level 3 with a Morbid Mask, and you're not gonna be able to beat him in trades. Like, you walk up to him, he hits you 3 or 4 times, and then you're like half health, and then if you try to hit him, he'll just wave form and then hit you a couple more times, and then you'll be almost dead. Basically, that's what the Slardar Morphling matchup looks like. So what you want to do is you want to go on this Morphling really hard, level 1. Don't be diving tower for it, obviously. But like, you get your stun off, you hit him as much as you can. You bring him low, right? Hopefully you can kill him. If not, that's fine. But you just make sure that you beat him up. You beat them up really bad, at least in the early level. If the Morphling is bad, they're gonna get kind of traumatized by this, and then the whole game they're gonna be afraid of you, even though it should be the other way around. They don't realize they're actually much stronger than you, even if you kill them. But if you don't get that aggressive start on the Slardar versus, well, generally any offlaner against Morphling, if you don't have an aggressive start against Morphling, you're gonna suffer really bad for it. Once he gets level 3 and especially level 5, because then he's just gonna right click you and there's nothing you can do about it. So yeah, definitely just something to consider. Turn up your aggression early. I think you missed a couple of your your blink crushes, which was unfortunate. But like overall, you did your job. You were frontlining for your team. Uh, be mindful, right? Like there's once where it was Omni, like AM got caught out in the dire triangle, and then Omni Knight ran in to save him, and then AM finally got away, and then you decided to blink in, and then you died for it. So, like just be aware what your team wants to do, right? Like, yeah, sometimes it could be good, but like if you're gonna about to jump in to like 4 heroes, you should at the very least make sure your team is ready to come in behind you, right? They were nowhere near you, and AM was in full retreat mode. He had no HP, and you blinked in, and he just kind of died. So like Omni Knight's sacrifice was okay. It was worth it to just make sure the AM didn't get caught out. Um, but yeah, for you, like you just kind of just gave them an extra kill for like no good reason. Like Omni Knight didn't need any help dying to 5 heroes. Like you could have just let them do that, and then you could have gone farming or done literally anything else. So just be aware of like trying to save your teammates, especially supports. Like oftentimes it's not even worth risking yourself if it means like you're gonna have to jump into 4 or 5 heroes, right? If you're gonna jump in, it isn't to save your support. It's gonna be like, oh gosh, guys, I can get like a big call, I can get a big RP, I can get a big Slytherin crush. Our whole team can take this team fight. It's not to keep the support alive. It's to win a team fight with using the support as bait, right? With a carry, it can be a little different. Sometimes it's worth it to keep your mid or your safe lane alive, even if it means you die. If they don't have buyback, or let's say you have buyback, they don't. It might be worth it to jump in, just give your life for your teammates, you know. But generally in Dota, there's no room for friendship. There's no room for loyalty. So you kind of just play your own game. Don't die for them. When for the supports, it's a bit different. But if you're a core, just let your support die, man. Or plan to win the team fight, not just buy time for them to survive. Okay, Cabbage. AM was like the skip. Like you skipped Battle Fury. You went straight Battle Fury, which I think really helped you this game.
Yeah, yeah. Because I thought there was no point. Like I'm gonna lose this lane against Dawnbreaker. I just wanna get out as quick as I can.
Okay, I think that's overall very like a decent plan. I would have done the same thing. So yeah, overall your item builds made sense. I think there were a couple of times you were farming like in incredibly dangerous positions, and when when you got stuck like trying to kill Morphling's career.
Oh yeah.
and then you got Omni Knight killed for it. And then you got Slardar killed for it. It's like, dude, he was clearly toying with you there. Like, just.
It pisses me out. Like he's Smurf Morphling. He knows all the secret courier spots.
Yeah, but, just let it be. It happens. Yeah. Generally, you were okay. I think there were a couple of times where you got caught by Dawnbreaker stun. Same with Windranger, like you see it, a big glowing gold circle, and you guys just stand in it.
Yeah, I went to the side, and I think I wasn't out of range enough. I think he just head straight to her. It's probably easier get behind her.
Yeah. No, I'm not talking about her Q. I'm talking about her.
Oh, the big one. Yeah.
Sometimes like you could have definitely just walked out of it, and then you got stunned, which I feel is why you got the BKB was just to deal with everybody's shit because Dawnbreaker felt like so impossible for you to dodge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Generally, yeah, it's okay if you had BKB, honestly. Omni Knight, like you did a good job in lane. Basically, you had the right idea. Like you're gonna win the lane. So what you did, and what you did well was you just kept healing your AM, like letting him get his ring of regen, and then you wouldn't win the lane, but you wouldn't really lose the lane either, and that was important. Because AM didn't get kicked out, he didn't have to jungle at level 4. And these are all important things. Beyond that, like your ult worked out well. Yeah, your item builds made sense. Like honestly, like you played Omni Knight pretty well. Like I know you're a tier 1, but I feel like you have a pretty good understanding of like what Omni Knight does. Yeah, so good job on that. In a lot of carry matchups, your carry is gonna play very scared. So I think it's fine that you just kind of go for this sustain build where all you do is just pop your purification over and over on the carry. Load them up with salves. There are a couple moments where you didn't have the salves needed. So basically, the rule is if you don't have a heal for your carry, if you just used it, like ship out another one. I know this kind of sucks to hear as a support, but it's important because there were like a couple moments where Dawnbreaker had a salve and AM had no salve, and they just traded their HP away. And AM had to just wait in the trees. Like if he had a salve there, like AM maybe could have bought it himself, but strictly speaking, it's more efficient when the support buys it. So just some stuff to consider. Positioning, spellcasting on your part was pretty good overall, I would say. I mean, Omniite isn't like the flashiest hero, but you did keep your teammates alive at some key moments.
Yeah, he really were our guardian angel.
Yeah, and he
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
die like super
Yeah.
unnecessarily. So like I think this was like a really good performance by you. Okay, again, guys, like you all played well. It was a good game and it was really exciting to watch. I'm gonna stop the recording now.